Awesome, guys. Thank you for coming back on. Fozia had to go pick up her kids. She just texted me. So we'll continue to carry on with this conversation. I have to definitely agree with you, Victoria. I know it works for some projectors. They can really master their energy online and attract people to that kind of things. But, it's not for everybody. And if that's an experience you want, then yeah, try it out. But I think for some of us, especially probably mental projectors, because we are so like logically in our heads and trying to, create and manipulate things when really it's our body that is so sensitive to the world, where those types of things might not be so aligned. So awesome. It's really great to hear everybody's little successes there. And so I just want to kind of talk a little bit more about what we can do to prepare for the next invitation and how we can make ourselves more visible. So in preparation for an invitation, there kind of comes down to three things that we can do as projectors. We can really anchor in our self-care and rest. So if the invitation or the opportunity is not right in front of us, that is a signal that we need to kind of sink back in, maybe nourish ourselves with self-care, maybe kind of do some practices, some cleansing practices, deconditioning, really getting to know what is ours, what is not, before we can receive the next thing. So one of the things that we can do as we prepare for this invitation is to rest. So taking care of ourselves, eating well, taking naps if we need to, saying no, setting some boundaries, getting healthy nutrition, making sure that we're fueling our bodies, and doing activities and exercises that really add and fill us up instead of take away. That also goes with spending time with the correct people, because people can drain us if they aren't correct for us, or if we spend too much time with them. Sacral beings, people who have the sacral center, they are our generators of the world. We love them. However, they can deplete us if we are not careful with our energetic boundaries and if we aren't taking time to rest and to recoup. So number one, self-care and rest. The second thing we can do to really prepare for that invitation is to study. Projectors are known to master systems. We like to look at details. We like to learn about these systems as well. So what we can do to prepare for that invitation is to immerse ourselves in a study or a project of something that we love. So it's really something that is right in front of us, not something we need to go hunting or searching for. Maybe it comes into our awareness out of spontaneity or synchronicity, but it's really something that we're curious about rather than trying to force ourselves into learning a system or modality because we think it's going to give us invitations. So again, it's really our intention for stepping into place or stepping into a study or preparation for the next invitation. The third thing that we can do as we prepare for an invitation is to play, is to have fun. Projectors, like I mentioned, we are very intense and we don't know how intense we are, especially when we're in a generator world and surrounded by generators. We don't realize the impact that it has on our bodies. So we need to take that time to find fun, to enjoy life, to not be so serious, and to play. So play looks differently for everybody. I remember I had this conversation with someone and he was telling me that like we were hanging out and he just said something like, you need to have more fun. And I was like, I have fun. I have fun by myself. Like I dance, I draw, I play with dogs, like I go on hikes, I walk. That's fun for me. So getting kind of like, just again, giving yourself that permission to have fun, however that looks for you. And don't be, again, conditioned by the outside world saying that having fun means you need to get drunk or, go joyriding or go to this party. being really discerning of what fun means for you, because that is what's, again, going to build you up, give you energy, and create an aura that is attracting others. So those are the big threes for you to experiment with as you're waiting for the next invitation, and to really, again, just play around with what your body requires in order to receive. So is it rest? Is it self-care? Is it spa day? Is it laying down? Is it watching a movie on a Friday night? Binge watching Netflix for a full Saturday without guilt? Or is it diving into a system like human design or astrology or art or knitting? Is it a hobby that you really want to take up? Something that is drawing you in, that really, when you do it, you have a lot of fun. Oh, and the third, of course, having fun. So getting yourself out, those 4 profiles, get yourself in the correct environments around people that make you feel good. And if you haven't had an invitation to go spend time with people, place yourself in a place, coffee shop, market, the farmer's market, clothing store, to potentially bump into people or potentially exchange some sort of conversation that makes you feel good. So again, creating opportunities for yourself to be visible. Again, this is similar to the idea of manifestation, although projectors manifesting are very, very different. Projectors, quote unquote, manifest by making themselves visible, by preparing for the invitation. So when we are sitting back in our room or snuggling under the covers, potentially an invitation comes, through social media or whatnot. But if we're really longing for that recognition, or even just a taste of the hustle and bustle of the world outside of ourselves, put yourself in places that light you up, that feel good for you, especially checking out your environment of your human design. Debbie, you mentioned shores. Go to the beach and read your favorite book. Someone might walk by and ask you about your book, and you might have an awesome conversation that leads to a dinner opportunity. Or coffee shops. Mine is, my environment is wet kitchens. It's called Wet Kitchens. And that is actually like a tropical, wet means tropical. And then kitchens is a place of creation, a place of activity. So for me, going to a coffee shop is like my happy place. There's a buzz of energy, there's creation happening, there's opportunities to be seen, to be visible, and it inspires me to dive into my process. And if your environment is mountains or valleys, those kinds of places can maybe help assist your aura to be received. So really, I just wanted to kind of share those 3 things with you guys. Maybe something stuck out with you. Maybe you knew right away what you needed to do. What is your body asking for? And so I just want to kind of pose this question. This is open conversation. We can kind of talk it out and share your ideas. And the question is, what are some ways that we can make ourselves visible to prepare for the invitation? So if anybody has thoughts or, something that comes to mind that, hey, they want to try this weekend or in the next week or so, feel free to hop off your mic and share.
Yeah, I love your idea of leveraging the environment that, the design is showing, where I might be. So, I've got a couple parties this weekend, but I think maybe Sunday I might just go to the beach after church. I think it would be, and I love just taking a walk on the beach. So I hope you're going to be here Sunday. So maybe after when we meet up, because we're going to see each other, maybe we'll just head out to the beach and go for a walk or something. I'm not sure what your environment is, Yeah, that's cool. Thanks.
Yeah, no, that sounds like an awesome idea.
And there's my invitation.
Perfect. And you never know what from there could come into play next. Possibly It's just the opportunity to fill your cup up with connection. And that's enough, right? If we have these big expectations that everything we do is going to lead to an invitation, then it's kind of defeating the purpose of putting ourselves out there. It's more just to experiment and to see what the universe is trying to show us.
Right. And it's putting yourself in the situation, yet sitting back and just going with the flow and whatever it is that happens. Because Debbie and I have been together, and actually she invited me on a cruise last month, and we went on a cruise. And while we were doing different things, we would meet people that just so happened to walk by us that we would notice for one reason or another, that would lead to conversation and that could potentially lead to something else in the future. But it's like you said, deliberately doing the one thing, yet without the expectation of something in your head, more just sit back and let what is going to be, let it be,
Mhm.
without force.
Mhm.
Yeah, without trying to make something happen. So I just recently, we have an electric bike now, and I've been riding it to and from the yoga studio and stuff. So I've been having a lot of fun with that. And we have a lot of coffee shops here where I live, and I don't go to them. I tend to hang out more in my office where it's sunny and warm, and I like sitting in my driveway in the sunshine. So the coffee shop means opposite to me because it's too hot to sit outside. But I might start exploring more coffee shops on my electric bike.
Love it. And even if that's like not something, maybe another, you'll drop in to find like what actually feels good. If it's not coffee shop, maybe it's a farmer's market, or a clothing store or boutique or something that feels
Love
better
that.
for your
And we
energy.
have all that here. It's just,
Yeah.
yeah, I get very comfortable in my home.
Mhm.
And yeah, so I'm seeing this as an invitation to get out more.
Yeah, I love it. Victoria, how
Yeah,
about you?
just want to share. Well, I have valleys wide as an environment, and I was only recently like reading a little bit. I mean, I read a ton about it, but only recently I noticed there's a Facebook group for this environment, and Cohen said it's more about the acoustics. It's like that the sound has to be damp for me, and I have to put in headphones, and it's like I'm really trying to figure out my environment. I also know that Valleys Wide is a place where people make connections. So for me, everything in life is about connection. It's my meaning, it's my purpose, it's like everything. And I did get invited here in Bali to a women's circle many months ago. I'm in it for like maybe already 9 months, but I'm really not getting more invitations out of that circle. I feel like perhaps this is kind of like, I don't know how to say, I wouldn't say it's wrong because I'm still having fun in it, and if I wouldn't have this women's circle, I would not have as many contacts. But I don't feel like from the leader of the women's circle that more is coming out, if that makes sense. Like not truly being recognized, like, oh, Vicky, I see this in you, I see this and this and this, so really just contemplating a little bit about that. Yeah. So see, but again, like don't force it, right? It's gonna come when it's gonna come. Yeah, but for me it's really just where people make connections. That's my environment, truly, and nature.
Mhm. Oh yeah, I'm right with you. And as a mental projector, or really any of us with that open identity center as well, environments are so important. If we're
Yeah.
especially in a group, it is hard to be recognized because we are kind of overpowered by the generator and man gen energy. We're kind of overpowered
Totally.
by other voices. So
Totally.
that could be something to even consider. Are there ways in that women's circle that you can get one-on-one time with girls, or can you invite somebody? We're
Yeah.
allowed to invite. That's the
Yeah.
thing. There's nothing in the book that says we cannot invite others to do things. We can, if we are feeling connected with someone, and if they are open to us, then we can invite. It's really all about the delivery. It's all about how we approach them, and just kind of I don't say butter them up, but really give them, a little bit of our projector spotlight so that they can reflect and see us as well. So groups, again, can be a little challenging for projectors because, again, we are really here for one-on-one mechanics or small group. So this is awesome, 3 to 5, they say, or even 5 to 8, depending on your profile line and also your definition. But for projectors, especially mental projectors, you know, we can get easily overlooked in groups. So Victoria, maybe it's an opportunity for you to consider inviting just one-on-one with no expectations, or position yourself in an area where you can have just a one-on-one conversation, maybe not even involved with the women's group, maybe other people. And I always remember this one saying that my cousin told me once, this piece of information, insight that I loved. And she said, we're always looking for more friends, more, when really, why don't we really focus and nurture the relationships and friends that we have? And why don't we spend our energy in those instead of trying to see out? And of course, if there are friendships and people that no longer align with us, that we have outgrown, there's no reason for us to stay and try to nurture those. But instead of trying to look more and beyond and, you know, past what is right in front of us, we have people that really do want to connect with us, that really do see us. But sometimes we're so stuck in the mindset of wanting invitations, wanting to get out there, wanting to be visible, that we forget our role with others, you know. So I think there's opportunity for all of us, wherever we are on that journey, to kind of reflect on our relationships, and maybe again in the spaces, and see if they are really ready for us, if they are going to lead us to invitations, if they are going to bring us opportunities to be seen. So last thing I want to ask, and then we can just have discussion time if you guys want, is how can we connect more with our true self? Yeah, feel free to write these down and journal on them later, maybe meditate on them later, or talk them out with a friend.
What was the question again? How can we
connect with our true self?
Yeah. Being honest, can I share something?
Would love it. Yes.
Molly, you shared before what is fun, right? And you said all these things like drawing and hiking and all these, and I was like, oh yes, preach it, because I love that so much too. Yeah. And yesterday I was playing a board game with my boyfriend, his friend, and his girlfriend. And I was so bored because I hate board games, but I wasn't authentic and true and honest with myself that I think this is the most boring thing to do, because I don't know, it doesn't excite me at all. It's like yeah, board games. Okay. And then everybody was so excited, like, aha, and drinking some beer and chatting, and they all felt so connected. And I was just like, oh my God, what am I doing here? You know, and after the evening, I felt so depleted. And I knew that this is just not, you know, board games. Yeah.
I like that.
And I just knew I'm not connected with my true authentic self, and that this is not, like, it's not something I want to do, even though, like, I feel, I don't know how to say, it came a lot up in the relationship with my boyfriend, like, and he loves video games, he loves board games, he loves so many things that I just find I don't like, and I'm not truly authentic and honest with myself that, hey, I don't want to do this, done, you know, because I think women are very, they put aside who they truly are in the relationship in order to please the man, in a way. Like, we do this a lot, I think, and I feel like this is what I did. Yeah.
In that moment, was there anything that dropped in for you that you would rather do? Were you like, oh my God, I would rather be doing this?
Yes, you know what happened? Somebody texted on the Voxer group, hey, is anybody available? And I was like, oh my God, yes, I want to do this now. Please, let's just talk one-on-one. And actually, after they left, I did exactly that. And I texted her, yeah, I'm available. And I had a beautiful conversation with her and helping her in the process. And I was like, yeah, this is what I meant to do. And this is fun for me. You know, for others, it may be work. And my boyfriend was like, you're too depleted now after the board game, but you're not depleted to talk to a stranger on Voxer. I'm like, yes, because that's me. And I was like, yes, I'm honest now and I'm authentic and I don't give a shit. This is who I am. So yeah.
Yeah, and I think there's going to be a come a time when those things do happen where you have to be unapologetically honest, right? And say, you guys can play, I'm not interested. Or sorry, sounds like a, something that you guys will enjoy, but I'd rather do this. And it's hard. That's hard because we don't want to let people down. We don't want to, think that we don't like them or don't want to spend time with them. But in reality, we need to honor our energy and really be true to ourselves if we really want to maintain our aura for the right opportunities. Yeah. Beautiful share. Thank you.
I love that. I have a very similar situation. Frequently, my husband and his siblings, they love to play cards, and I don't enjoy playing cards at all. And they do it every weekend, and they always invite me, and I feel bad. It's like, no, I don't want to, and I don't go. And another reason I don't go is they go to the sister's house that lives in a small apartment with fluorescent lighting, and it's dark, and it feels like a cave to me. And I always say, I'm not a cave dweller. I just can't go do this. So I don't go because I don't enjoy cards and I don't want to sit in a cave. But I feel bad because it's my family and they always invite me. And yet it's the one thing I don't do with them. So I just want to say I can really relate with you, Vicky, with that, just saying no. And then the Voxer, I love that. I'm in a mastermind and it's in Voxer. That's where we communicate. So I love that form of communication. But I wanted to say another thing, Molly, I love this question because I'm in a group called Soul Authority. And today our call was about self-abandon and self-honoring. And it relates right with what you're saying. She talked about our body is the best technology that we have. And it is sacred, it's powerful, it's miraculous, and it's guiding us all the time. Like we don't need telephones, we don't need computers, we don't need that kind of technology because our body is the best thing for us. And then she also, what else I took notes from that, which I think relates to this question, is what am I living am I living in my alignment at this very moment? And to lean more toward coming home to myself. And what is that? To sit with that. And what is that being home with yourself? And it's being in alignment, that and is what you're doing, is it going to advance you to the next thing that you actually want to be doing? And when you break through to that next, whatever you're trying to break through to, you've led yourself through that breakthrough. Now you're going to lead yourself through that next thing. So it's just always touching base with what's in alignment and what feels right. And I think all of you have felt it. For me, for sure, it's in my body. So I just wanted to share that with you, that how coincidentally, synchronicity, my call today was about that. And now you brought it up. And I think last week, the same thing happened with my call on last week. And yeah, so it's very weird how that works.
Is it?
I'd love to be invited to that group. Sorry, Molly.
Oh, no, you're fine. No, that's great.
No
The
worries.
Soul Authority.
For your Instagram handle so we can stay connected.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, you can either, what would be best is either throwing it in the chat, Victoria, or we have a Facebook group we started too.
Oh, okay. Wait, am I in there?
I feel like I invited you. I'll have to double check. Look for the invitation under your notifications. But again, that's where I'm sharing this content. I'm also posting on YouTube. So, I mean, it's anywhere. But kind of more to focus on our group and the connections that we're developing in our group. We're using the Facebook to kind of stay in touch. Oh yes, Victoria, I'll find you. Actually, I have you on Facebook, so I'll add you to the
Oh yeah, right. I
Projector group.
remember,
Yeah, yep. And then let's see, Debbie, do you have anything you want to share about how can we connect with our true self, or anything that came up in that last bit there?
Yeah, I just mentioned at the beginning when we were talking about going to the beach on Sunday.
Oh,
and
yeah,
being
sorry.
in the environment. Yeah, no,
Yeah.
that's cool. But it, it's also not that it's a struggle, but it is releasing from what has always been expected of you. And that in finding that, you then find that true calling or those true passions. If something has been projected onto me, how do we then, again, either open it or shield it, or to shuck it off. And I think that's what I'm going to be going through with this process. But again, getting into that right environment, I think, gets your head and your heart and your soul into the right place. Yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely a process, and there's so many layers to it. But I think we're in a space where we're interested, and we're building that awareness for ourselves, and we're learning to have the confidence to say no, or to check in with ourselves. We're building that into our habit before we make a decision, or we act impulsively, or we commit to something. So awesome. I have a few questions maybe that we can brainstorm, or I'll just put out there. I'd like to maybe pick up next week with these conversations, and just kind of hear what happens for you guys over the next week. So if you want to write them down. So one way to really kind of help us attract or draw in the correct invitations is getting clear, or at least putting out there the kinds of invitations we want. So your question is, what are the invitations that would make me feel successful? And so this question came up, gosh, I might have been listening to a podcast a while ago. And what I ended up doing with this question is just writing the invitations that I want. I want an invitation from so-and-so to watch their dog. I want an invitation from my partner to go out for dinner. And it doesn't have to be big or crazy life-changing stuff. Let's start with small practical things that, can happen, that you can call in, that can give you a taste of that invitation, can give you a taste of true projector strategy. So again, something that, maybe it's expected, like, oh, I would like an invitation from my boyfriend to pick me up coffee on Mondays. Like, maybe that's something he does. I don't know. Just writing it out there, kind of getting yourself, projecting a little bit about things that we want. And it can be very specific. It doesn't have to be very specific. Depending on your human design, you can actually tell whether or not being specific or not specific is best for you. It's in your arrows. But we can talk about arrows another time. I know the arrows are like my favorite. So maybe if that's something we want to explore soon, we can dive into that. Yeah. And I guess with that question in our conversation, we've got about 10 more minutes if we want to just do a open talk. If anybody has certain questions or just something they need to talk out or share, Yeah, feel free. Go ahead, Victoria.
Yeah. Okay, I wanted to soundboard about this anyways, but just briefly, it's just about like studying a system. My dream for many, many months has been becoming a hypnotherapist. And it's been coming up in my life over and over again, like, oh my God, I really want to study this. But it's not that easy to become a good hypnotherapist. I know there are courses out there where I can learn it in a couple of days, but there is one specific course that I really want to do. I can't afford it right now at all. I already had like the interview with the trainer basically. She has like a whole clinic where I did a few hypnotherapy sessions, and it was really, really life-changing for me. And I think the other woman that was here, she's also a hypnotherapist.
Yeah.
And when I heard that, I was like, yes, because I would so love to combine hypnotherapy with the conditioning of human design, you know, and really release these traumas for people. And it's like, I asked already in the groups, okay, do I have to be invited to study a system? Because it's not that easy, you know? Let's say you want to become a doctor, right? You can't just become a doctor by studying your stuff at home, right? You need to actually go to school. And for me, what I realized is when it comes to studying systems, I do best in groups where I have a back and forth kind of conversation. Like now, this group, I already learned so many things just because I'm in the aura of like so many people, and I can bounce back and forth my thought process, or else I'm not going to learn it. And I need practice. I need to practice too. And in this course, I can practice because I have to take exams. It's like school, it's 4 months, you know, and I know if I do it, I'm going to know my shit, you know, and it's going to like level me up so much. And I don't think I'm going to be able, I can do it by myself. Yes, I'm not saying that I'm completely powerless to it and I have to do this one specific course and only this is going to make me successful in life, right? But I'm really just like, am I seeing something wrong here? You know, like, should I just let go of it? Because my next step would be, okay, I'm going to ask my aunt for the money, which is, oh my gosh, like it's hard to ask for money in the family. And I don't have a job at the moment. I'm completely at the mercy of my boyfriend. He's supporting me financially. I have nothing, you know, and I just quit like 6 months ago. I quit my customer support job because it was so draining and I got $10 an hour. I mean, give me a fucking break. I can't do that anymore, you know, and I really want to be seen and recognized for my skills, but well, I have to gain a skill first. And here is the confusion that really comes in with my dilemma. And yeah, I kind of need support on that journey. I'm just gonna leave it there. And I'm quad right also.
Okay.
So I'm not specific. I'm not somebody that plans. I'm somebody that goes with the flow. And I know that, but yeah. And also like the stuff that came to me, like there's somebody randomly like, oh, I would love to do a past life regression someday. And it's like, great. If I would have done the course, I could say, oh, I do past life regressions. It always comes to me. And I see it already. I just need something that I specify on, and then I can really bring it out there.
Yes, I can say I can resonate a lot with what you're saying. And it's almost like this, it's almost imposter syndrome that we're kind of playing with, because deep down we know we have the skills and the gifts. We know it's possible, yet we don't feel qualified, or there might be certain things that we're not so familiar or trained on that we need in order to be able to be of service or to be seen. It's interesting because, you know, I even deal with this sometimes where it's a confidence thing where I'm like, I have all of these this criteria, these credentials, whatever, yet I still don't feel like I'm able to step into this role as a guide or whatever. And I think as far as stepping into a new study, something that even I'm still kind of playing with is really recognizing the intention. You know, am I stepping into it because I feel like I think it's going to bring me recognition, or am I stepping into this because I truly feel it in my body as something that lights me up? Is it really something I'm passionate about? And can I really create a really an energetic pull for people to see me as I am in this role? So Victoria, it sounds like, I think there's still some conversations needing to be had. I think you're still kind of like, I think talking more will help make this decision. I think you
Totally,
already
yeah.
know, but I think that the conversations just need to kind of help you feel more confident. But yeah. And
Yeah.
I would have to say, again, there's nothing that tells us we cannot initiate studying. We're here to do that because it does not involve someone else. Those are when we wait for the invitation. As long as if it involves someone else, and in our big four, moving, love relationships, a job opportunity, and gosh, there's one more. Maybe it's just like sharing information. I don't know. But anyway, things that
Yeah.
we are allowed to go if we feel called to study something, just tune in and check in and see if it's the right intention. I know for me, I
Yeah.
went and took a yoga course online a little bit ago, and every time I went to sign in, I thought of my mom. And I was like, I'm not taking this for me. I'm taking it for my mom because she kind of suggested that I be a yoga teacher. And I have not finished the course. I'm not finished it because I'm like, weirdly, this isn't what I want to do. So again, kind of just like playing with that. But yeah, I feel like
Yeah.
talking.
I hear you. Yeah. Yeah.
Mhm.
Makes so much sense.
Mhm.
Yeah. In this case, I didn't ask her yet, but in this case, other people would be involved to support this financially. So it's like,
Mhm.
yeah.
Mhm. Yeah,
For
that could
this,
be.
I would probably need an invitation, or I don't know. Like, yeah, it's confusing.
Yeah, I think for financial support, things like that, it would have to be like an offer, right? Or like somebody inviting to help instead of asking, because it does feel
Yeah,
sketchy. It
but
does
if I
feel
don't have contact with these people on a regular basis, they're not gonna know, they're not like,
correct.
that's also the thing.
Mhm.
And do I really need an invitation with family members? I don't know. She already recognizes me as, gifted, talented, whatever,
Mhm.
because she's in my family and
Mhm.
knows me for so long. So yeah, maybe just having a conversation with her, huh?
Yeah, share with her what's going on.
Yeah.
Just let her know what's up. I wouldn't ask straight up, just say, this is what my problem is. And you could even ask, like, do you have any suggestions?
Right.
Make her feel good.
That's such a good idea. Yeah.
Yeah.
Never thought about that. Yeah. Okay.
Thank you.
Thanks. Yeah.
We
That
have,
already helped a ton.
yay. We have less than a minute for this before we wrap it up. Are there any real brief final words? Or we feel pretty good?
No, yeah, I feel complete. I like how you just went through that process with Victoria. Yeah, it was good.
Is it
Good to learn all
the
this.
evening? Yeah.
Yay. Awesome, guys. Well, I'm going to end our call, wrap it up here. I want to say thank you guys for tuning in. Feels good for me. I mean, I'm still happy to hold this space and have conversation. So for next week, we'll continue to do the Thursday time or whatever time you're at. And Victoria, I'll invite you to our Facebook group, and then I'll share
Thank
the
you.